At Westbrook Academy's graduation, Zachary Carrington sees the one woman he never forgot, Alana, and the 6-year-old daughter he never knew he had. One look, and everything unravels. Before we get into the story, comment below where in the world you are watching from today. The morning sun streamed through the tall windows of the Carrington mansion. Zachary Carrington stood before the mirror in his bedroom, adjusting his navy blue tie. At 29, he was the picture of success. Tall, handsome, with storm grey eyes and perfectly styled dark hair. As the heir to one of Atlanta's largest real estate empires, he had everything money could buy. But the reflection staring back at him held a hint of emptiness he couldn't shake. "Today's the big day, son," Robert Carrington said, appearing in the doorway. His father was a stern man in his 60s, with silver hair and the same piercing grey eyes. "The Westbrook Academy graduation. Half of Atlanta's elite will be there." Zachary nodded. "My speech is ready." "Good. Remember, appearances matter. The Carrington name opens doors, but it also means expectations." Robert straightened his son's already perfect tie. "Your mother and I will be in the front row." When his father left, Zachary pulled out the speech from his jacket pocket. Words about legacy and future stared back at him. Empty words. He'd spent 7 years playing the part of the perfect son, the golden boy. 7 years trying to forget one summer that had changed everything. 7 years trying to forget her. Across town, in a modest 2-bedroom apartment, Alana Monroe was helping her daughter get dressed for a special day. "Mommy, is my hair pretty?" 6-year-old Lena asked, twirling in her blue dress. Her curly hair was tied back with a matching ribbon. "You look beautiful," Alana smiled, her heart swelling with pride. At 27, Alana was a vision of quiet strength, her brown skin glowing, her dark eyes warm and intelligent. She worked as a 3rd-grade teacher at Westbrook Academy, a prestigious private school that had hired her despite her unconventional background. "Are you excited about the graduation?" Alana asked, slipping on her simple beige dress. "Will there be cake?" Lena asked, her grey eyes, so like her father's, wide with excitement. Alana's smile faltered for just a moment. "There might be. Now let's hurry, Mommy can't be late." As they drove to the school, Alana gripped the steering wheel tightly. She had known this day might come. Zachary Carrington was the keynote speaker at today's graduation. After 7 years of carefully building a life away from the Carringtons, away from the pain and humiliation, she would see him again. She had never told him about Lena. How could she? Not after what his mother had done. The auditorium at Westbrook Academy was filled with Atlanta's wealthiest families. Women in designer dresses and men in expensive suits chatted, while students in graduation robes waited nervously. Zachary sat on stage with the school board and principal. From here he could see his parents in the front row. His mother, Victoria Carrington, sat regally in a pearl-white suit, her blonde hair perfectly styled. She was scanning the crowd, noting who was there and who wasn't, as she always did. The principal approached the podium. "Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, a graduate of Harvard Business School, vice president of Carrington Enterprises, and one of Atlanta's most eligible bachelors, Mr. Zachary Carrington." Polite applause filled the room as Zachary took his place at the podium. He began his speech, the words flowing automatically. "Today marks not just an ending, but a beginning. As you leave these halls, you carry with you not just knowledge, but legacy." His eyes scanned the crowd, seeing nothing but faceless figures, until suddenly the world stopped. There, in the back row, stood a woman he would recognize anywhere. Alana. Her hair was shorter now, falling just below her shoulders instead of down her back like it used to. She wore a simple dress, nothing like the designer clothes surrounding her. But it was her, the woman who had disappeared without a word 7 years ago, taking his heart with her. And beside her, holding her hand, was a little girl with curly hair and a blue dress, a little girl with his eyes. Zachary's voice faltered mid-sentence. The crowd murmured. His mother looked up sharply. He cleared his throat. "Forgive me." With shaking hands, he took a sip of water and forced himself to continue, though every word felt like it was coming from someone else. The rest of the ceremony passed in a blur. All he could focus on was Alana, who was now trying to blend into the crowd. The little girl kept looking around curiously, swinging her mother's hand. When the ceremony ended, Zachary made his excuses to the principal and pushed through the crowd, desperate not to lose sight of them. "Zachary," his mother's voice cut through the noise, "the Hendersons want to speak with you about their donation." "Not now," he said, not even turning to look at her. He caught up to Alana just as she was hurrying toward the parking lot, the little girl struggling to keep up. "Alana!" he called out. She froze, her back to him. Slowly she turned around, her expression guarded. "Zachary," she said, her voice steady despite the storm he could see in her eyes. The little girl looked up at him curiously. "Who are you?" she asked. Zachary couldn't speak. Those were his eyes looking back at him, his mother's curls, his grandfather's smile. "He's Mr. Carrington," Alana said quickly. "He works with the school." "You talk funny," the girl said with a giggle. Despite everything, Zachary found himself smiling. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "I'm Lena. I'm 6. She held up 6 fingers proudly. 6. The math wasn't hard to do. 7 years ago, he and Alana had spent a summer together, stealing moments when his family wasn't looking. 7 years ago, she had vanished without a trace. "Lena, why don't you go see if Ms. Thompson has any of those cookies left?" Alana suggested, her eyes never leaving Zachary's face. When the girl was out of earshot, Zachary's calm facade cracked. "Is she mine?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Alana's chin lifted. "She's mine." "Don't play games, Alana. Is she my daughter?" A flash of pain crossed Alana's face. "What does it matter now? You made your choice 7 years ago." "My choice? You disappeared. No note, no call, nothing. I looked for you for months." "Did you, or did you just go back to your perfect life once the summer fling with the maid was over?" Her words hit him like a slap. "It wasn't a fling. You know that." People were starting to look at them. Victoria Carrington was making her way across the lawn, her eyes narrowed. "I have to go," Alana said, turning away. Zachary grabbed her arm, then immediately released it when she flinched. "Please," he said, his voice breaking. "I need to know." Alana looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time. "Yes," she said quietly. "She's yours. But that doesn't mean you have any right to her life. Or mine." She walked away, calling for Lena, who came running with a cookie in her hand. Zachary stood frozen, watching them go, 1,000 questions burning in his mind. What was that about? Victoria Carrington's cold voice cut through his thoughts. "Who was that woman?" Zachary turned to his mother. Seeing her perfectly composed face and calculating eyes, something in him hardened. "No one you need to worry about," he said. But as he watched Alana's car drive away, he knew nothing would ever be the same again. Alana's hands shook as she drove home, stealing glances at Lena in the rearview mirror. The girl was happily eating her cookie, oblivious to the earthquake that had just shaken her mother's carefully constructed world. "Mommy, why did that man look at me funny?" Lena asked. "Did he, sweetie? I didn't notice," Alana lied, her heart racing. "He had eyes like mine," Lena observed. Even at 6, she missed nothing. Alana's throat tightened. "Lots of people have grey eyes." When they got home, Alana called her best friend Tasha. "He saw her, Tash," Alana said as soon as her friend picked up. "Zachary saw Lena." "Oh my God," Tasha breathed. "What happened? What do you think happened?" He took one look at her and knew. Alana paced her small living room, watching as Lena played with her dolls in the corner. He asked if she was his. "And?" "I told him the truth. Then I left." "Alana," Tasha's voice was gentle. "You knew this might happen someday. Not like this. Not with his mother right there." Alana closed her eyes, remembering Victoria Carrington's cruel words from 7 years ago. "Do you really think my son would throw away his future for a maid? Here's $10,000. Take it and disappear. If you ever try to contact him or anyone in this family again, I'll make sure you regret it." The memory still burned. She hadn't taken the money, but she had left, her pride in tatters, her heart broken. A month later, when she discovered she was pregnant, she'd made the decision to raise her child alone. "What are you going to do now?" Tasha asked. Alana looked at Lena, innocently playing, unaware that her world was about to change. "I don't know, but I won't let them hurt her like they hurt me." Zachary sat in his car outside the Carrington mansion, unable to go inside. His mind was racing. He had a daughter, a beautiful, bright-eyed daughter who didn't know he existed. Why had Alana kept this from him? What had happened 7 years ago to make her disappear? The summer they spent together had been real. Stolen moments in the gardens, whispered conversations late at night, promises made under a blanket of stars. He had been falling in love with her. Then one day she was simply gone. His phone rang. It was his father. "Where are you?" Robert Carrington demanded. "The Hendersons are waiting to discuss the downtown project." "I'm not coming," Zachary said, making a decision. "Something's come up. What could possibly be more important than this deal?" "Family," Zachary said, and hung up. He started the car and drove to the address listed for Alana Monroe in the school directory. It was a small apartment complex on the east side of town, well maintained but nothing like the luxury he was used to. He sat there for an hour, working up the courage to knock on her door. Finally, just as the sun was setting, he got out of the car. Alana opened the door with a wary expression. "How did you find me?" "School directory," he said. "Can I come in?" She hesitated, then stepped aside. Her apartment was small but cozy, with children's drawings on the fridge and books stacked neatly on shelves. "Where's Lena?" he asked, looking around. "At my neighbor's apartment. She watches her sometimes when I need." Alana trailed off. "Why are you here, Zachary?" "You know why." He ran a hand through his hair. "She's my daughter. All this time I had a child I knew nothing about." "And whose fault is that?" Alana's voice was sharp. "Mine, apparently, though I don't know what I did." Zachary's frustration boiled over. "You vanished, Alana. No goodbye, no explanation, just gone. And now I find out we have a daughter." "We don't have a daughter. I have a daughter. That's not fair, and you know it." He took a step closer to her. "What happened? We were happy, weren't we? I was going to ask you to come with me to Boston when I started at Harvard." Alana laughed bitterly. "Is that what you think? That you were going to bring the black maid with you to your fancy Ivy League school? That your family would have just accepted that?" "I loved you," he said simply. "The rest would have worked itself out." She shook her head. "You were young and naive. You didn't understand how the world works." "Then help me understand. What happened?" Alana was silent for a long moment. "Your mother happened," she finally said. Zachary's blood ran cold. "What do you mean?" "She called me into her study one day, showed me pictures of us together. Someone had been following us. She said if I didn't leave immediately, she would make sure I never worked in Atlanta again, that my scholarship would mysteriously disappear." Alana's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "She offered me money to go away quietly." "Did you take it?" Zachary asked, his voice hollow. "No." Alana's voice was firm. "I would never take their money. I packed my things and left that night." "Why didn't you tell me? We could have faced her together." "You don't get it, do you? Your mother made it very clear what would happen to both of us if I stayed. I was trying to protect you, too." Zachary sank onto her couch, his head in his hands. "And when you found out you were pregnant?" "I considered telling you," Alana admitted. "But then I saw the announcement in the paper. You were dating some socialite looking every bit the perfect Carrington heir. What was I supposed to do? Ruin your life with an unexpected child?" "You should have let me make that choice," Zachary said quietly. A key turned in the lock and the door opened. Lena bounded in, followed by an older woman. "She was an angel, as always," the woman said, then stopped when she saw Zachary. "Oh, I didn't realize you had company." "Thank you, Mrs. Chen," Alana said quickly. "I'll see you tomorrow." When the woman left, Lena looked at Zachary with curious eyes. "You're the man from graduation," she said. "Why are you in our house?" Zachary didn't know what to say. He looked at Alana, who seemed equally lost. "Mr. Carrington is an old friend of mine," Alana finally said. "He came to visit." "Do you like cookies?" Lena asked him. "Mommy made chocolate chip ones yesterday." Despite everything, Zachary found himself smiling. "I love chocolate chip cookies." "Me too, they're the best ones." Lena grabbed his hand without hesitation and pulled him toward the kitchen. "Come on, I'll show you." Zachary followed, his heart breaking and healing at the same time. This little girl, his daughter, had no idea who he was, but she was holding his hand, eager to share her cookies with him. In the kitchen, Lena climbed onto a chair to reach the cookie jar on the counter. Zachary instinctively moved to help her, but Alana shook her head slightly. He watched as Lena carefully balanced herself, determined to do it on her own. "Here," she said proudly, offering him a slightly crumbled cookie. "This one's the biggest." "Thank you," he said, his voice thick with emotion. He took a bite. "It's delicious." "Mommy's the best baker," Lena declared. "She makes cookies and cakes and sometimes bread that smells really good." "Is that so?" Zachary looked at Alana, who was watching them with a guarded expression. "I didn't know that about your mom." "There's a lot you don't know," Alana said quietly. "But I want to," he replied, meeting her eyes. "I want to know everything." Lena looked between them, sensing the tension. "Are you sad?" she asked Zachary. He knelt down to her level. "A little bit. Sometimes grown-ups get sad about things that happened a long time ago." "When I'm sad, Mommy gives me a hug and it makes it better," Lena said matter-of-factly. Zachary smiled. "Your mom is very good at making things better." Alana cleared her throat. "Lena, it's getting late. Time to get ready for bed." "But we have a visitor," Lena protested. Mr. Carrington was just leaving, Alana said firmly. Zachary stood up. Actually, I was hoping we could talk more. After... He glanced at Lena. Alana hesitated, then nodded. Go brush your teeth, sweetie. I'll be there in a minute to read you a story. When Lena had gone, Alana turned to Zachary. This doesn't change anything. You can't just walk into our lives after 6 years and expect... I'm not expecting anything, Zachary interrupted. But she's my daughter. I have a right to know her. A right? Alana's eyes flashed. Where were you when I was throwing up every morning for 3 months? When I had to work 2 jobs while pregnant because no one would hire a single mum-to-be? Where were you during the 20 hours of labor? You didn't give me the chance to be there. Zachary's voice rose, then he immediately lowered it, aware of Lena in the next room. You made that choice for both of us. And I'd make it again, Alana said fiercely. The Carringtons made it very clear what they thought of me. Do you think they would have welcomed a half-black grandchild with open arms? The truth of her words hit him hard. His family's subtle racism had always been there, disguised as concern about appearances or traditional values. He had grown up with it, become numb to it, but Alana had seen it clearly. I'm not my family, he said quietly. Aren't you? 7 years as the perfect Carrington heir says otherwise. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, Zachary. I learned that lesson the hard way. From the bathroom came the sound of Lena calling for her mother. Alana sighed. You need to go. I'm coming back, Zachary said firmly. We're not done with this conversation. What do you want from us? Alana asked, suddenly sounding tired. I want to know my daughter, he said simply, and I want to understand what happened to us. There is no us, Zachary. There's me and Lena. That's all. Then I want to know where I fit in her life, in your lives. Alana was silent for a moment. I don't know if you do fit, she finally said, but I won't keep you from her. Not if you're serious about being in her life. I've never been more serious about anything, Zachary said, and he meant it. Mommy, Lena called again. Go home, Zachary. Think about what this really means. If you still want to be part of her life tomorrow, call me. Alana wrote her number on a piece of paper and handed it to him. But I'm warning you, if you come into her life only to disappear when it gets complicated, I will never forgive you. Zachary took the paper, his fingers brushing against hers. For a moment, he remembered how it felt to hold her hand, to kiss her under the summer stars. Then the moment was gone. I'll call tomorrow, he promised. As he drove back to the Carrington mansion, his mind was spinning. He had a daughter, a beautiful, bright, curious daughter who didn't know he was her father. And he had no idea how to be a father to her. One thing was certain, though. Nothing would ever be the same again. The Carrington mansion was lit up when Zachary arrived home. His parents were hosting a dinner party, something he had completely forgotten about. There you are. His mother's voice was pleasant, but her eyes were cold as she intercepted him in the foyer. Where have you been? The Prestons have been asking about you. Not now, Mother, Zachary said, trying to move past her. Victoria Carrington grabbed his arm. What's going on? First you disappear after the graduation, then you miss the meeting with the Hendersons, and now you're late for dinner. This isn't like you. Zachary looked at his mother, really looked at her. Had she always been this calculating? This cold? Had she really threatened Alana all those years ago? I saw Alana today, he said quietly. Victoria's perfectly composed face revealed nothing, but her grip on his arm tightened. Who? Don't play dumb, Mother. Alana Monroe, the maid you drove away 7 years ago. A flicker of recognition, quickly masked. Oh, that girl. What about her? She has a daughter. My daughter. Victoria's face paled slightly, but she recovered quickly. Don't be ridiculous. Some girl you had a summer fling with shows up with a child, and you immediately believe it's yours. She's obviously after your money. She never asked for a dime, Zachary said coldly. Unlike you, who tried to pay her to disappear. I did what was necessary to protect this family, to protect you. Protect me. You ruined my life. Victoria looked around nervously. Lower your voice. We have guests. I don't care about your guests. I care about the fact that I have a 6-year-old daughter I knew nothing about because of you. You need to think clearly about this, Zachary. If word gets out that you have an illegitimate child with their help, don't, Zachary warned, his voice dangerously low. Don't you dare finish that sentence. Victoria's eyes narrowed. We'll discuss this later. Right now, you need to go upstairs, change, and join the party. The Preston's daughter is here and she's been asking about you. I'm not interested in being set up with another socialite, Mother. It's not about what you're interested in. It's about what's best for this family. Zachary shook his head. That's always been the problem, hasn't it? What's best for the family? What about what's best for me? What about what's best for my daughter? You're not thinking clearly. We'll talk tomorrow when you've calmed down. She turned and walked back toward the dining room, her spine rigid, her head held high. The perfect Carrington matriarch. Zachary went upstairs to his room and closed the door. He took out the piece of paper with Alana's number and stared at it. Tomorrow he would call her. Tomorrow he would begin to figure out how to be a father to Lena. But tonight he had a decision to make. Would he continue to be the perfect Carrington heir, following his family's wishes? Or would he finally stand up for what he wanted, what he needed? As he changed his clothes, he caught sight of himself in the mirror. The man staring back at him looked different somehow. Older, determined. For the first time in 7 years, he felt like he was waking up from a long sleep. "I'm coming, Lena," he whispered to his reflection. "I promise." Morning sunlight filtered through the blinds of Zachary's bedroom as he stared at his phone. Alana's number seemed to taunt him. What would he say? How could he explain 6 years of absence to a child who didn't even know he was her father? His phone buzzed with a message from his father. "Board meeting at 10. Be there." Zachary ignored it and dialed Alana's number. She answered on the 3rd ring. "Hello?" Her voice was guarded. "It's me," he said. "I want to see Lena again." A pause. "Are you sure about this, Zachary? Once you're in her life, you can't just walk away when it gets complicated." "I've never been more sure of anything," he said firmly. "When can I see her?" "She has a recital at school tomorrow evening. You can come to that." Alana's voice was carefully neutral. "But we need to talk first, about how we're going to handle this. I'll pick you up for lunch. We can talk then." Another pause. "Fine. Noon. Don't be late." After hanging up, Zachary went downstairs. His parents were in the dining room, his father hidden behind a newspaper, his mother sipping coffee. "There you are," Victoria said coldly. "We need to discuss yesterday." "There's nothing to discuss," Zachary replied, pouring himself coffee. "I have a daughter. I'm going to be part of her life." Robert lowered his newspaper. "What's this about a daughter?" Victoria's lips thinned. "Apparently that maid who worked for us years ago has a child she claims is Zachary's." "She doesn't claim anything," Zachary snapped. "Lena is my daughter. One look at her and you'd know it too." Robert frowned. "This is troubling news, son. If word gets out—" "I don't care if word gets out," Zachary interrupted. "I'm tired of living my life worried about what other people think." "That's enough," Victoria said sharply. "We've worked too hard building this family's reputation to have it destroyed by a scandal." "A scandal?" Zachary laughed bitterly. "My daughter is not a scandal. She's a beautiful, innocent child who deserves to know her father." "Be reasonable," Robert said. "If this woman is claiming the child is yours after all these years, she's clearly after money." "Is that what Mother told you? That Alana's after money?" Zachary shook his head. "She never took a dime from us. In fact, Mother tried to pay her to leave." Robert looked at his wife in surprise. "Victoria?" Victoria's face flushed. "I did what I had to do to protect our son. That girl was nothing but trouble." "That girl is now a teacher at Westbrook Academy," Zachary said. "She's raised our daughter alone for 6 years, while I knew nothing about her." "And you're worried about the family reputation?" "You have responsibilities, Zachary," his father reminded him. "The Carrington name means something in this city." "Maybe it shouldn't." Zachary put down his coffee cup. "I'm having lunch with Alana today. I suggest you both get used to the idea that Lena is my daughter and will be part of my life from now on." As he walked out, he heard his mother say to his father, "We need to do something about this. Now." Alana checked her appearance in the mirror one last time. She'd changed outfits 3 times, finally settling on a simple blue dress, not too casual, not too formal. She didn't want Zachary to think she was trying to impress him. "Tasha, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing," she said into her phone. "What if he decides being a father is too hard and disappears again?" "He didn't disappear the first time," Tasha reminded her gently. "You left him, remember? Because his mother threatened me." Alana sighed. "I'm just worried about Lena. She's already asking questions about the man from graduation." "Children are resilient," Tasha said, "and they deserve to know where they come from." A knock at the door made Alana's heart jump. "He's here, I'll call you later." Zachary stood in her doorway, looking more casual than she'd seen him in years. Jeans and a simple button-down shirt instead of his usual suit. "You look nice," he said, his eyes taking her in. "Thanks." Alana grabbed her purse. "Let's go." In his car, an expensive but not flashy sedan, an awkward silence fell between them. "Where's Lena?" he finally asked. At a friend's birthday party. Mrs. Chen will pick her up at 3. Zachary nodded. I made reservations at Bellini's. Alana raised an eyebrow. Isn't that a bit fancy for a lunch discussion? I wanted somewhere quiet where we could talk privately. At the restaurant they were shown to a secluded table. After they ordered, Zachary leaned forward. I need to know everything about her, he said. Her favorite color, her favorite food, what she likes to do. Everything. Alana was taken aback by his intensity. She likes purple. She hates broccoli but loves carrots. She's learning to play the piano and has a recital tomorrow. She's afraid of thunderstorms but pretends she isn't. The words tumbled out. She's smart. Too smart sometimes. She asks questions about everything. Has she asked about me? Zachary's voice was quiet. Alana looked down at her hands. She's asked about her father, yes. I told her he lives far away. What are we going to tell her now? I don't know, Alana admitted. I never thought I'd have to explain this to her so soon. We need to tell her the truth, Zachary insisted. The truth? That her grandmother paid me to disappear? That her father's family thought I wasn't good enough? Not that part. Not yet. But she needs to know I'm her father and that I want to be in her life. Their food arrived and they ate in silence for a few minutes. What happened after you left? Zachary finally asked. When you found out you were pregnant? Alana put down her fork. I was scared. I had no job, no money. My scholarship was gone. Your mother made good on that threat. Tasha let me stay with her until I found work. I waited tables until I was too pregnant to hide it anymore. Then I worked as a receptionist until Lena was born. Why didn't you contact me then? The pain in his voice was raw. I saw your engagement announcement in the paper, Alana said quietly. To that socialite, Caroline something. Zachary looked confused. Caroline Preston, that was never official. My mother pushed for it, but nothing came of it. Well, it looked pretty official in the society pages. Carrington heir to wed Preston heiress. There was a picture of you two at some charity ball looking very much in love. That wasn't real, Zachary said firmly. None of it was real. After you left, I went through the motions, did what was expected of me, but I was never happy. Alana looked away. It doesn't matter now. It matters to me, Zachary insisted. I want you to know I never forgot you. I looked for you for months. Not hard enough, Alana said bitterly. I didn't know where to look. You disappeared without a trace. I called your old roommate, but she said she hadn't heard from you. I asked her to say that, Alana admitted. I was staying with her at the time. The realization that he had been so close to finding her hit Zachary hard. All this time wasted, he murmured. Not wasted, Alana corrected. I raised our daughter. I got my teaching degree. I built a life. Without me, Zachary said. Yes, without you. Alana's voice softened. But that doesn't mean it wasn't a good life. I want to be part of it now, Zachary said firmly. Part of both your lives. Let's start with Lena, Alana said carefully. She's what matters most. Agreed. Zachary hesitated. But Alana, what we had was a long time ago, she interrupted. We're different people now. Before Zachary could respond, his phone rang. He checked it and frowned. It's my father. I should take this. Alana nodded, watching as he stepped away from the table. Even after all these years, there was something about him that still made her heart beat faster. The way his eyes crinkled when he smiled, the intensity in his gaze when he focused on something or someone. But she couldn't afford to think like that. Not now. Not when Lena's happiness was at stake. Zachary returned to the table, his expression troubled. That was my father. Apparently, my mother has called an emergency board meeting at Carrington Enterprises. They're trying to force me out. What? Why? Take a wild guess, Zachary said grimly. They're using my personal issues as an excuse to question my judgment. Zachary, I never wanted to cause problems between you and your family. This isn't your fault, he assured her. It's been a long time coming. My mother has always used the company to control me. What are you going to do? Zachary's jaw set in a determined line. Fight back. I own 20% of the company shares. They can't just push me out. As they left the restaurant, Zachary hesitated. About tomorrow's recital. Come at 6, Alana said. The recital starts at 6:30. We can talk to Lena afterward. Thank you, Zachary said sincerely, for giving me this chance. As he drove her home, Alana found herself studying his profile. The boy she had fallen in love with was still there, beneath the polished exterior of the man he had become. But could she trust him with her heart again? More importantly, could she trust him with Lena's? The next evening, Zachary arrived at Westbrook Academy 15 minutes early. The small auditorium was already filling with parents and relatives, all dressed in their finest. He felt out of place among them, though he was dressed in an expensive suit. These people were here to celebrate their children. He was here to meet his daughter, a daughter who didn't even know he was her father. He spotted Alana in the third row saving a seat. She wore a simple green dress, her hair pulled back. She looked beautiful. "You made it," she said as he sat beside her. "I wouldn't miss it for the world," he replied. The lights dimmed, and the recital began. Child after child performed simple piano pieces, some with more skill than others. When Lena's name was called, Zachary felt his heart race. She walked onto the stage in a purple dress, her curly hair tied back with a matching ribbon. She sat at the piano, her small hands hovering over the keys. Then she began to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. It wasn't perfect. She missed a few notes, but to Zachary, it was the most beautiful music he had ever heard. When she finished, he was the first to his feet, applauding loudly. Lena beamed from the stage, her eyes finding her mother in the crowd. Then her gaze shifted to Zachary, and her smile widened. After the recital, they waited in the lobby as Lena ran toward them. "Mommy, did you hear me? I only messed up twice." Alana knelt down to hug her. "You were perfect, sweetie." Lena looked up at Zachary. "You're here again. Did you like my song?" Zachary knelt down to her level. "I loved it. You played beautifully." "Are you Mommy's friend?" Lena asked curiously. Zachary glanced at Alana, who gave a slight nod. "I'm a very old friend of your mum's," he said carefully. "But I'm also your dad." Lena's eyes widened. "My dad?" She looked at her mother for confirmation. "Yes, sweetheart," Alana said gently. "Mr. Carrington is your father." "But you said my dad lived far away," Lena said, confusion in her voice. "He did, for a long time," Alana explained. "But now he's back and he wants to get to know you." Lena studied Zachary's face. "You have eyes like mine," she observed. "Yes," Zachary said, his voice thick with emotion. "You have my eyes." "Where were you before?" Lena asked directly. Zachary looked helplessly at Alana. "How do you explain a complicated adult situation to a 6-year-old? "Your dad and I met a long time ago," Alana said carefully. "But then we were apart for a while. He didn't know about you until he saw you at graduation." "You didn't know I was born?" Lena asked Zachary. "No," he said honestly. "If I had known, I would have been here. I promise." Lena seemed to consider this. "So do you want to be my dad now?" "More than anything in the world," Zachary said, his heart in his eyes. "Okay," Lena said with the simple acceptance of a child. "Can we get ice cream?" Zachary laughed, relief washing over him. "Absolutely, we can get ice cream." As they walked to the car, Lena slipped her small hand into his. The simple gesture nearly brought him to his knees. At the ice cream shop, Lena chatted happily, asking Zachary question after question. What was his favorite color? Did he like dogs? Could he play the piano too? Zachary answered each question patiently, soaking in every detail about his daughter. She was bright and curious, with a hint of stubbornness that reminded him of himself. "Can I call you Dad?" she asked suddenly, ice cream dripping down her cone. Zachary's throat tightened. "I would like that very much." As they were leaving the ice cream shop, Zachary's phone buzzed with a message. He checked it and frowned. "What's wrong?" Alana asked. "My mother," Zachary said grimly. "She's threatening to go to the press about Lena if I don't come to my senses." "What does that mean?" Alana asked, glancing at Lena, who was skipping ahead of them. "It means she wants me to stay away from you and Lena, to pretend none of this is happening." Alana's face hardened. "She hasn't changed at all, has she?" "No," Zachary agreed, "but neither have I. I'm not the same naive boy who let you walk away 7 years ago." When they reached Alana's apartment, Lena was yawning. "Time for bed, sweetie," Alana said. "Can Dad tuck me in?" Lena asked. The word Dad sent a wave of emotion through Zachary. "I'd be honored," he said. In Lena's small bedroom, decorated with stars and moons, Zachary sat on the edge of her bed as she climbed under the covers. "Will you come see me tomorrow?" she asked. "I'll come see you as often as you and your mom will let me," Zachary promised. "Good," Lena said sleepily. "I always wanted a dad." Zachary bent down and kissed her forehead. "Good night, Lena." "Night, Dad," she murmured, already half asleep. When Zachary returned to the living room, Alana was waiting. "She called me Dad," he said, still amazed. "She's been wanting a father for a long time," Alana said softly. "But Zachary, we need to be careful. Your mother's threat. I won't let her hurt either of you," Zachary said firmly. "She's done it before," Alana reminded him. I was a boy then, easily manipulated. I'm a man now, and I'm going to protect my family. The word family hung in the air between them. What about your job, your inheritance? Are you really willing to risk all that? None of it matters compared to Lena, compared to you. Alana shook her head. Don't say things like that. Why not? It's the truth. Because it complicates things, Alana said. We need to focus on what's best for Lena right now, not whatever is happening between us. Zachary stepped closer to her. And what is happening between us, Alana? Nothing, she said, but her voice lacked conviction. Look me in the eye and tell me you don't still feel something for me, Zachary challenged. Alana met his gaze. What I feel doesn't matter. It didn't 7 years ago, and it doesn't now. It matters to me, Zachary said softly. He reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. It's always mattered to me. For a moment, the years fell away. They were back in the garden behind the Carrington mansion, young and in love with the world ahead of them. Then Alana stepped back. You should go. It's late. Zachary nodded, respecting her boundaries. I'll call tomorrow about seeing Lena this weekend. As he drove home, his mind was a whirlwind of emotions. He had a daughter who had accepted him with the simple grace of a child. He had seen the woman he had never stopped loving, and now his family was threatening to destroy it all. One thing was clear. He would not let that happen. Not this time. The Carrington mansion was dark when Zachary arrived home, but a light was on in his father's study. He found Robert sitting alone, a glass of whiskey in his hand. Your mother's gone to bed, Robert said when Zachary entered. She's upset. I'm not surprised, Zachary replied, pouring himself a drink. She's used to getting her way. She's trying to protect this family, Robert said wearily. We built this empire from nothing, Zachary. Everything we've done has been to secure your future. My future? Or the future of the Carrington name? Robert sighed. They're one and the same. Not anymore. Zachary sat across from his father. I met my daughter tonight, Dad. Really met her. She called me Dad. Do you have any idea what that felt like? For a moment, something like understanding flickered in Robert's eyes. Then it was gone. Your mother told me about the board meeting. The vote was 7-3 to remove you as VP. Let me guess. The 3 votes in my favor came from the non-family members. Robert nodded. The official announcement will be made tomorrow. So that's it. After 5 years of working 80-hour weeks, bringing in millions in new business, I'm out because I want to be part of my daughter's life. It's more complicated than that. No, it's really not. Zachary drained his glass. You and Mother have controlled every aspect of my life for as long as I can remember. Who I could be friends with, who I could date, what I could study, where I could work. And when I finally found someone who saw me for who I really am, not the Carrington heir, Mother drove her away. Your mother only wants what's best for you. No, she wants what's best for her image of me. Zachary stood up. Well, I'm done living my life for her approval. I'm going to be a father to my daughter. I'm going to rebuild my relationship with Alana if she'll let me, and if that means walking away from Carrington Enterprises, then so be it. Don't be hasty, son, Robert warned. You're upset. Sleep on it. I've been asleep for 7 years, Zachary said. It's time I woke up. Upstairs in his room, Zachary opened his laptop and began making plans. He had money of his own, investments he'd made outside the family business. Not enough to live the lavish lifestyle he was accustomed to, but enough to start over, to build something new. His phone buzzed with a text from Alana. Lena wants to know if you can come to her school picnic on Saturday. Zachary smiled and replied, wouldn't miss it for the world. For the first time in years, he felt truly alive. He had a daughter who wanted him in her life. He had a second chance with the woman he had never stopped loving. And he had the opportunity to become the man he was meant to be, not the one his parents had tried to shape. It wouldn't be easy. His mother would fight dirty, she always did. But this time, he was ready for the battle. The next morning, Zachary woke to the sound of voices downstairs. He showered and dressed, then went to investigate. He found his mother in the sitting room with Caroline Preston, the woman she had once tried to push him to marry. Zachary, Victoria said with false brightness. Look who's come to visit. Caroline smiled awkwardly. Hello, Zachary, it's been a while. Caroline. Zachary nodded politely. This is unexpected. I invited her for brunch, Victoria explained. I thought it would be nice for you two to catch up. Zachary saw through his mother's scheme immediately. Mother, can I speak with you privately? In the hallway, he confronted her. What are you doing? Reminding you of what you're giving up, Victoria said coldly. Caroline's father just merged with Atwood Industries. They're more powerful than ever. A marriage alliance would... Marriage alliance? Zachary laughed incredulously. This isn't the Middle Ages, Mother, and I'm not interested in Caroline. Because you're still hung up on that maid? Zachary, be sensible. That woman and her child will bring nothing but scandal to this family. That woman has a name, Alana, and that child is your granddaughter. Zachary's voice was steel. And they're more family to me than you've been in years. Victoria's face hardened. You're making a terrible mistake. No, the mistake was letting you drive Alana away 7 years ago. I won't make that mistake again. He returned to the sitting room. I'm sorry, Caroline, but I have to go. I have plans with my daughter today. Caroline looked confused. Your daughter? Yes, Zachary said firmly. My 6-year-old daughter, Lena. She's having a school picnic, and I promised I'd be there. Without waiting for a response, he grabbed his keys and left, ignoring his mother's calls behind him. As he drove to Alana's apartment, his phone rang continuously. His mother, his father, even his brother, Alexander, who rarely called. He ignored them all. When he arrived, Lena was waiting on the steps, wearing a yellow sundress and sandals. She ran to his car when he pulled up. "Dad, you came!" she exclaimed, throwing her arms around him when he got out. The simple joy in her voice washed away all his worries. "Of course I came," he said, hugging her back. "I promised, didn't I?" Alana appeared in the doorway, looking beautiful in a simple white sundress. "You're early," she observed. "Couldn't wait," Zachary admitted. "Had to get away from the house." "Problems?" she asked quietly, as Lena skipped back inside to get her picnic basket. "Nothing I can't handle," he assured her. "Today is about Lena." At the school picnic, Zachary found himself surrounded by families, mothers, fathers, children playing together. This was the world he had missed out on for 6 years, but not anymore. He played tag with Lena and her friends, helped her win the 3-legged race, sat beside Alana on a blanket under a tree, watching as their daughter laughed and played. "She's amazing," he said softly. "You did an incredible job with her, Alana." "She makes it easy," Alana replied. "She's got your charm." "And your strength," Zachary added. "Your kindness." Their eyes met, and for a moment the rest of the world faded away. Zachary reached for her hand, and to his surprise she didn't pull away. "I never stopped thinking about you," he confessed. "Even when I was trying to forget, you were always there in the back of my mind." "Zachary," Alana began. I know. We need to focus on Lena, but I want you to know that I'm serious about this, about both of you. Whatever happens with my family, with the company, I'm not going anywhere." Alana looked at him, really looked at him, as if seeing the man he had become for the first time. "I believe you," she said finally. It wasn't a declaration of love. It wasn't forgiveness for the past, but it was a start. As the sun began to set, Lena ran back to them, her face flushed with excitement. "Can Dad come for dinner?" she asked. "Please, Mommy." Alana hesitated, then nodded. "If he wants to." "I'd love to," Zachary said. Later, as they walked back to the car, Lena between them, holding both their hands, Zachary felt a sense of rightness he had never experienced before. This was his family. This was where he belonged. His phone buzzed again. His mother for the 10th time that day. He silenced it without looking. Whatever storm was coming, he would face it. For Lena, for Alana, for the family he had found at last. 3 weeks had passed since Zachary had met his daughter, and his life had completely changed. He had rented an apartment not far from Alana's, traded his luxury car for something more practical, and resigned from Carrington Enterprises. His days, once filled with meetings and business deals, were now centered around school pickups and piano lessons. This morning, he was making pancakes in Alana's small kitchen while Lena sat at the table, coloring a picture. "Make mine look like Mickey Mouse," she requested, not looking up from her drawing. "I'll try my best," Zachary promised, carefully pouring the batter. Alana walked in, dressed for work in a simple blouse and skirt. "You're spoiling her," she said, but there was a smile in her voice. "That's what dads are for," Zachary replied with a grin. "Coffee, please." Alana watched as he moved around her kitchen with growing familiarity. It was becoming a routine, Zachary coming over for breakfast before taking Lena to school, giving Alana time to prepare for her classes. "I made you one too, Mummy," Lena said, pushing a drawing toward her. It showed 3 stick figures holding hands, a tall one labeled Dad, a medium one labeled Mum, and a small one labeled me. "It's beautiful, sweetheart," Alana said, her throat tight with emotion. Zachary placed a plate of Mickey Mouse pancakes in front of Lena, who squealed with delight. "Perfect." As they ate breakfast together, Zachary marveled at how quickly they had fallen into this comfortable rhythm. Lena had accepted him into her life with the easy grace of a child. Alana had been more cautious, but day by day the walls she had built around her heart were slowly coming down. "Don't forget Lena has a doctor's appointment at 4, Alana reminded him. "Already in my calendar," Zachary assured her, "and I'll pick up dinner on the way back." After breakfast, Zachary helped Lena put on her backpack and walked her to school, a short 5 blocks away. These morning walks had become his favorite part of the day. Lena would chatter about her friends, her teacher, the book they were reading in class, and Zachary soaked up every word, making up for 6 years of missed conversations. "Dad?" Lena asked as they approached the school. "Is Grandma ever going to come see me?" The question caught Zachary off guard. "What makes you ask that, sweetie?" Lena shrugged. "Tiffany's grandma comes to her recitals and brings her cookies, and Marco has 2 grandmas who take him to the park." Zachary knelt down to her level. "My mom, your grandma, she lives far away," he lied, hating himself for it, "and she's not very good at being a grandma." "Is she mean?" Zachary struggled to find the right words. "She's not very good at showing love." "That's sad," Lena said simply. "Everyone should know how to show love. It's easy." "Is it?" Zachary asked, touched by her innocent wisdom. "Uh-huh. You just have to tell people and show them, like how Mommy makes my favorite lunch when I'm sad, or how you always check under my bed for monsters even though we both know they're not real." Zachary's heart swelled. "That's exactly right. And I want you to know that I love you very, very much." "I know, Dad." Lena gave him a quick hug. "See you after school." As she ran off to join her friends, Zachary stood and watched, his chest tight with emotion. He had missed so much of her life already. He wouldn't miss another day if he could help it. His phone buzzed with a text from Alexander, his older brother. "We need to talk. Lunch today?" Zachary hesitated, then replied, "Fine. Thompson's at 12:30. Thompson's Grill was a busy lunch spot in downtown Atlanta. Zachary arrived to find Alexander already seated in a corner booth, looking as polished and severe as ever in his tailored suit. "Little brother," Alexander said, as Zachary sat down, "you're looking different." Zachary knew what he meant. Gone were the designer suits and expensive watches. Today he wore jeans and a casual button-down shirt. "I'm feeling different. Better, actually." "Mother's worried about you." "Mother's worried about the family reputation," Zachary corrected. "Not me." Alexander sighed. "Look, I understand you're upset about being removed from the board. I resigned, Alex. There's a difference. Either way, you're throwing away everything you've worked for, everything Father built for us." "No," Zachary said firmly. "I'm building something new, something that matters more than money or status. This is about that woman and her child, isn't it?" "Her name is Alana," Zachary said, his voice hardening, "and Lena is my daughter. Your niece, whether you like it or not." Alexander leaned forward. "Be reasonable, Zach. If it's about money, we can arrange something. A trust fund for the girl, monthly payments for her mother. But this playing house routine, it needs to stop." "Is that what Mother sent you to say?" Zachary laughed bitterly. "That she'll buy off my daughter like she tried to buy off Alana 7 years ago? Mother only wants—" "I know exactly what Mother wants," Zachary interrupted. "She wants me to abandon my child and return to being her perfect puppet. Well, it's not happening." "You're making a mistake," Alexander warned. "The board is considering legal action to recover company resources they believe you misappropriated. That's absurd and you know it. Every project I handled was profitable and above board." "Maybe, but a long public legal battle wouldn't be good for anyone, especially not for your new family." Zachary's eyes narrowed. "Is that a threat?" "It's a reality check," Alexander said, standing up. "Think about it, Zach. Is this rebellion really worth destroying everything?" As his brother walked away, Zachary sat there, seething. The implicit threat was clear. His mother was willing to use the company, the family's influence and resources, to try to force him back in line. But she had underestimated how much Lena and Alana meant to him, and how determined he was to be the father and the man they deserved. That afternoon, Zachary took Lena to her doctor's appointment. It was a routine checkup, but he found himself nervous as they sat in the waiting room. "Are you okay, Dad?" Lena asked, looking up from her book. "You're bouncing your leg like Mommy does when she's worried." Zachary smiled. She noticed everything. "I'm fine, sweetie, just thinking." "About what?" "About how lucky I am to be your dad." Lena beamed at him. "I'm lucky too. Marco has to share his dad with his brothers, but I get you all to myself." The doctor's appointment went well. Lena was healthy and growing normally. As they left the clinic, Zachary's phone rang. It was Tasha, Alana's best friend. "Zachary, you need to get to the school right away," she said, her voice urgent. "Some reporter is there asking questions about Alana and Lena, talking about the Carrington heir's secret child." Zachary's blood ran cold. "Where's Alana?" "In a meeting with the principal. She doesn't know yet." "I'm on my way. Can you watch Lena?" "Of course." After dropping Lena off at Tasha's apartment, Zachary drove to Westbrook Academy as fast as he could. In the parking lot, he spotted a man with a camera and a woman with a notepad talking to some parents. "Excuse me," the woman said, approaching Zachary as he hurried toward the building. "Are you Zachary Carrington?" "No comment," he said curtly, trying to move past her. "Is it true you have a secret child with one of the teachers here? That your family tried to cover it up?" Zachary stopped and turned to face her. "Who gave you this story?" The reporter smiled. "So, you're not denying it?" Before Zachary could respond, the school's security guard approached. "These people bothering you, Mr. Carrington?" "Yes," Zachary said. "They're harassing school staff." The guard turned to the reporters. "This is private property. You need to leave now." As they reluctantly retreated, Zachary hurried inside to find Alana. He found her in the principal's office, her face pale. "Zachary," she said when she saw him, "did you see them?" He nodded grimly. "Tasha called me." The principal, a stern woman in her 50s, looked between them. "Ms. Monroe, perhaps you'd like to explain what's going on. Why are reporters asking about your daughter?" Alana looked helplessly at Zachary. He stepped forward. "It's my fault, Mrs. Winters. Lena is my daughter. My family, they're not happy about it." "I see." The principal's expression was unreadable. "And you believe your family is behind these reporters?" "I'm certain of it," Zachary said. "My mother threatened to go to the press if I didn't come to my senses." "This puts the school in a difficult position," Mrs. Winters said. "We value our privacy and the safety of our students and staff." "I understand," Alana said quietly. "If you want my resignation, that won't be necessary," Mrs. Winters interrupted. "You're an excellent teacher, Ms. Monroe, but I do suggest you both find a way to resolve this situation quickly. For Lena's sake." After they left the principal's office, Zachary pulled Alana into an empty classroom. "I'm so sorry," he said. "This is exactly what I wanted to avoid." "It's not your fault," Alana said, though her voice trembled. "It's your mother's." "I'll fix this," Zachary promised. "I'll talk to her, make her understand she can't bully us." "How? She's already shown she's willing to drag Lena into this." "Then I'll give her what she wants," Zachary said grimly. "What do you mean?" "I mean I'll offer her a deal she can't refuse." The Carrington mansion looked the same as always. Imposing, perfectly maintained, cold. Zachary stood at the front door, steeling himself for the confrontation to come. The housekeeper answered his knock. "Mr. Zachary," she said, surprised. "We weren't expecting you. Is my mother home?" "In the sunroom. Shall I announce you?" "No need," Zachary said, walking past her. He found Victoria Carrington arranging flowers, looking as perfect and controlled as ever in her cream-colored dress, her blonde hair styled immaculately. "Zachary," she said coolly when she saw him, "this is unexpected." "Cut the act, Mother," Zachary said. "I know you sent those reporters to Alana's school." Victoria snipped a rose stem with more force than necessary. "I have no idea what you're talking about. You threatened to go to the press if I didn't end things with Alana and Lena. Now there are reporters at Westbrook Academy asking about the Carrington heir's secret child. Perhaps the truth is simply coming out," Victoria said. "Actions have consequences, Zachary." "Yes, they do," Zachary agreed, "which is why I'm here to offer you a deal." Victoria raised an eyebrow. "I'm listening. I'll sign over my shares in Carrington Enterprises to you and Dad. I'll publicly resign from the board. I'll even give a statement to the press that I'm stepping back to focus on personal matters. And in return, you leave Alana and Lena alone, completely. No more threats, no more reporters, no more interference in our lives." Victoria considered him. "You would give up your inheritance for them?" "In a heartbeat," Zachary said without hesitation. "You're a fool," Victoria said, but there was a hint of something else in her voice, surprise, perhaps even a grudging respect. "Maybe, but I'm a fool who knows what really matters." Victoria set down her scissors. "Your father won't be pleased." "My father will understand business. This is a clean break. You get what you want, complete control of the company, and I get what I want, a life with my daughter free from your manipulation. And that woman, the maid? Her name is Alana," Zachary said firmly, "and yes, she's part of the deal too." Victoria was silent for a long moment. "You really care about them that much? More than anything in this world?" Something flickered in Victoria's eyes, a hint of the mother she might have been in another life. "Have the papers drawn up. I'll sign them." Zachary nodded. "I'll have them tomorrow. And Mother, if you ever change your mind, if you ever try to hurt them again, I'll go to every newspaper in the country with the full story of how Victoria Carrington drove away her son's girlfriend and tried to keep him from his child." Victoria's lips thinned. "Is that a threat?" "It's a promise," Zachary said. "And unlike you, I keep my promises." As he turned to leave, Victoria called after him. "Zachary, this child, Lena, does she look like you?" The question caught him off guard. Was his mother actually showing interest in her granddaughter? "She has my eyes," he said after a moment, "and my stubbornness, but she has Alana's kindness, her strength." Victoria nodded, almost to herself. "I see." Zachary left, feeling lighter than he had in years. He had made the right choice, the only choice. His family's wealth and status meant nothing compared to the joy of hearing Lena call him Dad. At Alana's apartment, he found her sitting on the couch, looking worried. Lena was already in bed. "How did it go?" Alana asked when he sat beside her. "She agreed," Zachary said. "I'm giving up my shares in the company in exchange for her leaving us alone." "Zachary, no," Alana protested. "That's your inheritance." "I don't need it," he said simply. "I have my own investments, my own savings. I can build something new, but I can't replace you and Lena." Alana's eyes filled with tears. "I never wanted you to have to choose." "I'm not choosing," Zachary said, taking her hand. "I'm fighting for what matters most." Alana looked down at their joined hands. "When you came back into our lives, I was so afraid. Afraid you would hurt Lena. Afraid you would hurt me again." "I know," Zachary said softly. "You had every reason to doubt me. But these past weeks," she looked up at him, "you've been amazing with her. Patient, kind, the father I always hoped she would have." "She makes it easy," Zachary said, echoing Alana's words from before. "She's an incredible kid. Because of you." "Because of both of us," Alana corrected. "She has your charm, your determination, your eyes." "Poor kid," Zachary joked, trying to lighten the mood. "It worked." Alana laughed, a sound that still made his heart skip a beat. "Your eyes are one of your best features, actually." "Oh, really?" Zachary raised an eyebrow. "What are my other best features?" "Don't push your luck, Carrington," Alana said, but she was smiling. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. "What happens now?" Alana finally asked. "Now, I find a job, a real one, not just a position handed to me because of my last name. I'm thinking of starting my own company, actually. Something in real estate development but focused on affordable housing." "That sounds wonderful," Alana said sincerely. "And," Zachary hesitated, "I'd like to keep being part of Lena's life. And yours, if you'll let me." Alana's expression softened. "Lena would be devastated if you disappeared now." "And you?" Zachary asked, his heart in his throat. "I'd miss you too," she admitted quietly. Zachary's hand reached up to cup her cheek. "Alana, I know we can't just pick up where we left off 7 years ago. Too much has happened, but I never stopped loving you. And being with you and Lena these past weeks, it's shown me what I want for the rest of my life." Alana's eyes glistened with tears. "Zachary, I'm not asking for anything right now," he quickly added. "Just the chance to show you day by day that I'm not going anywhere, that I'm in this with both of you for the long haul." A tear slipped down Alana's cheek. "I'm scared," she whispered. "I know," Zachary said, wiping away her tear with his thumb. "So am I. But some things are worth being scared for." Slowly, giving her every chance to pull away, he leaned forward and kissed her. It was gentle, tentative, a question more than a demand. To his joy, she kissed him back, her hand coming up to rest on his chest. When they parted, Alana's eyes remained closed for a moment. "I've thought about that for 7 years, she confessed. "Me too," Zachary said, resting his forehead against hers. It was worth the wait. A small voice from the hallway startled them. "Are you and Mommy going to get married?" They turned to find Lena standing there in her pajamas, teddy bear in hand. "Lena!" Alana exclaimed. "You're supposed to be in bed." "I heard talking," Lena said, unrepentant. "And I saw kissing." Zachary couldn't help but laugh. "You caught us." "So are you?" Lena persisted, coming to stand in front of them. "Going to get married?" Zachary looked at Alana, whose cheeks were flushed. "That's something your mom and I would have to discuss, in private." "But you love each other," Lena said, as if it were the simplest thing in the world. "I can tell. It's more complicated than that, sweetie," Alana tried to explain. "Why? Tiffany's mom and dad got married because they love each other, and they live in the same house. Well, Alana looked helplessly at Zachary. Your mom and I are still getting to know each other again, Zachary said carefully. It's been a long time since we were together. But you'll think about it? Lena asked hopefully. We'll think about it, Alana promised, clearly wanting to end the conversation. Now back to bed, young lady. Can Dad tuck me in again? Zachary stood up. Of course I can. In Lena's bedroom, he sat on the edge of her bed as she snuggled under the covers. Dad, she said sleepily, I'm glad you came back. Me too, sweetheart, Zachary said, his heart full. More than you'll ever know. And I'm glad you love Mommy, Lena continued. She's been sad sometimes, but she smiles more now that you're here. Does she? Zachary asked, touched. Lena nodded. Uh-huh. And she sings in the shower again. She's got a pretty voice. Zachary smiled. I remember. Will you be here for breakfast tomorrow? If your mum says it's okay. She will, Lena said confidently. She likes your pancakes better than hers. She told Aunt Tasha on the phone. Zachary chuckled. Did she now? What else did she tell Aunt Tasha? Lena yawned. That you make her heart do flippy things. What does that mean? It means, Zachary said, tucking the blanket around her, that sometimes when two people care about each other very much, just being near them makes you feel like you're on a roller coaster. Oh, Lena's eyes were drooping. That sounds nice. It is, Zachary agreed. That's very nice. He kissed her forehead. Good night, Lena. Night, Dad, she murmured, already half asleep. Love you. I love you too, Zachary whispered, his throat tight with emotion. When he returned to the living room, Alana was standing by the window, looking out at the night sky. She's asleep, Zachary said. Alana turned to him. She really loves you, you know. It's amazing how quickly she's bonded with you. Kids are resilient, Zachary said, moving to stand beside her. And she's had a great role model in knowing how to love. Alana looked up at him, her eyes reflecting the soft light of the room. Do I really make your heart do flippy things? He asked with a grin. Alana groaned. She heard that. I'm going to kill Tasha. Don't, Zachary laughed. I think it's adorable. It's embarrassing, Alana countered. Like I'm 16 instead of 27. So it's true then? Zachary pressed, taking her hand. Alana rolled her eyes, but a smile tugged at her lips. Maybe. A little. Good, Zachary said, because you still make my heart do somersaults. He pulled her into his arms, and this time when they kissed, there was no hesitation, no uncertainty, just the certainty of coming home after a long journey. Stay, Alana whispered against his lips. Just to sleep. I want you here in the morning. There's nowhere else I'd rather be, Zachary said honestly. Later, as they lay together in Alana's bed, her head on his chest, Zachary thought about the journey that had brought them here. 7 years of separation, 7 years of secrets and pain, but also 6 years of Lena growing into the amazing little girl she was. Perhaps it had all happened the way it was meant to. Perhaps they had needed that time apart to become the people they were now, stronger, wiser, more certain of what truly mattered. Whatever the reason, Zachary was grateful for second chances, for Lena's unconditional love, for Alana's forgiveness, for the opportunity to build the family he had always wanted. Tomorrow, he would sign away his inheritance. He would walk away from the Carrington empire without a backward glance. And he would do it with a smile, because he had found something far more valuable than money or status. He had found love. He had found family. He had found himself. The morning sun streamed through Alana's bedroom window, waking Zachary. For a moment he was disoriented. Then he felt Alana's warm body beside him and smiled. He had stayed the night just holding her, talking until they both fell asleep. He carefully got out of bed, trying not to wake her, and went to the kitchen to start breakfast. He had just started mixing pancake batter when Lena appeared, still in her pajamas, her curly hair a wild mess. Morning, Dad, she said with a sleepy smile. You stayed. I did, Zachary confirmed. Want to help me make breakfast for your mum? Yes. Lena ran to wash her hands. Can we make her favorite, blueberry pancakes? Absolutely. As they worked together in the small kitchen, Zachary found himself thinking about Lena's innocent question from the night before. Are you and Mommy going to get married? The thought wasn't as scary as it might have been a month ago. In fact, it felt right, natural, inevitable even. But Alana had been hurt before, by his family, by his failure to fight for her 7 years ago. He would need to be patient, to prove himself day by day, to show her that this time, Nothing would come between them. "Dad?" Lena's voice broke into his thoughts. "You're spilling the milk." Zachary looked down to see milk overflowing the measuring cup. "Oops. Thanks for catching that." They had just finished setting the table when Alana appeared, looking soft and beautiful in her robe, her hair loose around her shoulders. "Something smells amazing," she said, smiling at the sight of them together in her kitchen. "We made your favorite," Lena announced proudly. "Blueberry pancakes. And coffee," Zachary added, handing Alana a mug. "Just the way you like it." "Thank you both," Alana said, clearly touched by the gesture. Her eyes met Zachary's over Lena's head, warm with affection. As they sat down to breakfast, Zachary couldn't help but marvel at how right this felt. The three of them, together, a family. His phone buzzed with a text from his lawyer. "Papers ready for signing. 10 a.m. at my office." "Everything okay?" Alana asked, noticing his expression. "Fine," Zachary assured her. "Just confirming my meeting to sign the papers for my mother." "Are you sure about this?" Alana asked, concern in her voice. "Giving up your shares in the company. I've never been more sure of anything," Zachary said honestly. "Besides, I've been thinking I might use some of my savings to buy that empty lot on Maple Street." "The one near the park?" Alana asked. Zachary nodded. "I was thinking it would be perfect for a small apartment building. Affordable housing for families. Maybe some retail space on the ground floor." "Your own development project," Alana said with a smile. "I think that's a wonderful idea." "Me too," Lena chimed in, though Zachary suspected she had no idea what they were talking about. "It would be a start," Zachary said. "Something I built myself, not just because of my name." "I'm proud of you," Alana said softly. Those 4 simple words meant more to Zachary than all the praise he had ever received for his work at Carrington Enterprises. After breakfast, he reluctantly prepared to leave. "I'll be back this evening," he promised. "After I sign the papers." Alana walked him to the door. "Good luck today." "I don't need luck," Zachary said, pulling her close. "I have you and Lena. That's all I need." He kissed her goodbye, still marveling that he could, that after 7 years apart, they had found their way back to each other. As he drove to his lawyer's office, Zachary felt a sense of peace he had never known before. Today marked the end of one chapter of his life and the beginning of another, a better one. The future stretched out before him, bright with promise. Not the future his parents had planned for him, but the one he had chosen for himself, with the woman he loved and the daughter he adored, and he couldn't wait to see what tomorrow would bring. 2 months had passed since Zachary signed away his shares in Carrington Enterprises. 2 months of building a new life centered around Lena and Alana. He had purchased the empty lot on Maple Street and was working with an architect to design an affordable housing complex. He had moved from his temporary apartment into a modest house just a few blocks from Alana's place, and each day he fell more deeply in love with the family he had found. This morning, Zachary sat in the audience of Westbrook Academy's auditorium, watching as Lena's class performed their end-of-year play. She had been cast as a tree with only 2 lines, but to Zachary she was the star of the show. Beside him, Alana watched with equal pride, her hand comfortably entwined with his. After the performance, they waited in the lobby as Lena, still in her tree costume, ran toward them. "Did you see me? Did you hear my lines?" she asked excitedly. "You were the best tree I've ever seen," Zachary said, kneeling to hug her. "Everyone was looking at you," Alana added, smoothing Lena's curly hair. As other parents and children milled around them, Zachary felt a tap on his shoulder. He turned to find his father, Robert Carrington, standing there, looking uncomfortable in the school environment. "Dad," Zachary said, surprised. "What are you doing here?" Robert cleared his throat. "I came to see my granddaughters play." Zachary was stunned. In the 2 months since he had walked away from Carrington Enterprises, his father had made no attempt to contact him. "How did you know about it?" Alana asked, her arm instinctively going around Lena's shoulders. "Your mother told me," Lena piped up, looking at Robert curiously. "Are you my grandpa?" Robert's stern face softened as he looked at Lena. "Yes, I am. And you must be Lena." "Uh-huh. I was a tree. Did you see me?" "I did," Robert said. "You were a very fine tree." Zachary exchanged a confused glance with Alana. "Lena, when did you talk to my mother?" "Yesterday," Lena said. "She came to our house while I was with the babysitter. She said she was your mommy, which makes her my grandma. She brought me a present." Lena pulled a small silver locket from beneath her tree costume. "See?" Alana's face paled. "Your mother was in our home? With Lena?" Zachary's shock turned to anger. "I need to talk to my father. Alone." Alana nodded. "Come on, Lena. Let's get you changed out of your costume." When they had walked away, Zachary turned to his father. "What is going on? Mother promised to stay away from us." Robert sighed. "Your mother, as she's having a hard time accepting that you've chosen this life, this family. That doesn't give her the right to go behind our backs and see Lena without our permission." "I know," Robert admitted. "I told her it was wrong, but Zachary, you have to understand she's struggling. The company isn't the same without you. The new VP doesn't have your vision, your connections. So this is about business?" Zachary laughed bitterly. "Of course it is. It's always about business with Mother." "No," Robert said firmly. "It's about family. Our family. Whether you believe it or not, your mother misses you. She regrets what happened. She has a funny way of showing it, sneaking into Alana's home to see Lena behind our backs. She's not good at apologies," Robert said. "Never has been. But she sent me here today as a peace offering, to invite you, all three of you, to dinner at the house." Zachary was stunned. "You can't be serious." "I am. Sunday night, a family dinner." Robert looked at him earnestly. "She's trying, Zachary, in her own way." Before Zachary could respond, Alana and Lena returned. Lena, now changed out of her tree costume into a purple dress, looked up at Robert. "Are you coming to my piano recital next week?" she asked. "Grandma said she might." Robert looked at Zachary, who was still processing the invitation. "I would be honored to come to your recital, if your parents say it's okay." "Can he, Dad?" Lena asked, tugging on Zachary's hand. "And Grandma too?" Put on the spot, Zachary looked at Alana, whose expression was unreadable. "We'll talk about it at home, sweetheart," he said finally. Robert nodded, understanding he was being dismissed. "Think about Sunday," he said to Zachary. "It would mean a lot to your mother." "To both of us." After Robert left, they walked to the car in silence, Lena skipping ahead, oblivious to the tension between her parents. "You're angry," Zachary said as they drove home. "Wouldn't you be?" Alana replied. "Your mother, the woman who tried to pay me to disappear, who threatened me, who sent reporters to my school, was in my home with our daughter, without my knowledge or permission. I had no idea she would do this," Zachary said. "I'm as shocked as you are." "Are you?" Alana asked. "Or deep down, did you hope she would eventually come around? Accept us? Accept Lena?" Zachary was quiet for a moment. "Maybe I did," he admitted. "Not like this, not going behind our backs. But yes, part of me hoped that someday my family would be part of Lena's life, even after everything they've done. They're still my family, Alana. And they're Lena's family too, whether we like it or not." Alana looked out the window. "I can't forget what your mother did, how she treated me, how she tried to keep you from knowing about Lena." "I'm not asking you to forget," Zachary said gently, "or to forgive, just to consider the dinner, for Lena's sake. And if it's a trap, another attempt to manipulate us, then we leave," Zachary said simply, "together, as a family." The word family hung in the air between them. At home, after Lena had gone to play in her room, they continued the conversation. "I don't trust your mother," Alana said. "And I don't like that she went behind our backs to see Lena." "Neither do I," Zachary agreed, "but I'm starting to think that maybe cutting them off completely isn't the answer either. Not for Lena." "She seems to like your father," Alana admitted, "and the locket your mother gave her, she hasn't taken it off since yesterday." Zachary sighed. "What do we do?" "We go to the dinner," Alana said, surprising him, "but we set clear boundaries. No more secret visits. No more gifts without our permission, and at the first sign of manipulation or disrespect we leave." "Are you sure?" Zachary asked, taking her hands in his. "No," Alana admitted with a small smile, "but Lena deserves the chance to know her grandparents, even if her grandmother is Victoria Carrington." "I love you," Zachary said softly. "Have I told you that today?" "Not since breakfast," Alana teased. "I was starting to worry." Zachary pulled her close. "I love you. For your strength, your compassion, for giving my parents a chance they probably don't deserve." Alana rested her head on his chest. "I'm doing it for Lena. And for you." "I know," Zachary said, "and that makes it even more meaningful." Sunday evening arrived, and Zachary found himself standing once again at the front door of the Carrington mansion. Beside him, Alana looked elegant, but nervous in a simple blue dress. Lena, excited about visiting her fancy grandparents, wore a purple dress and her silver locket. "Ready?" Zachary asked, squeezing Alana's hand. "As I'll ever be," she replied. The door opened to reveal not the housekeeper, but Victoria Carrington herself. She looked different somehow, less severe, though still immaculately dressed in a grey silk suit. "You came," she said, and for once there was no coldness in her voice. "Please, Come in." The mansion's grand foyer was just as Zachary remembered it, but it felt foreign now, like a museum of his former life. Victoria knelt down to Lena's level. "Hello, Lena, thank you for wearing the locket. It has your picture in it," Lena said, "and Grandpa's and Dad's." "That's right," Victoria said with a smile that seemed almost genuine. "Family should always be close to your heart." The irony of those words, coming from a woman who had tried so hard to tear their family apart, was not lost on Zachary, but he said nothing, watching the interaction carefully. Robert appeared from the study. "You're here," he said, looking relieved. "Welcome, all of you." Dinner was a strained affair, with conversation limited to safe topics: Lena's school, the weather, Zachary's new development project. Victoria asked appropriate questions about Lena's interests, her piano lessons, her favorite subjects in school. Robert seemed genuinely interested in Zachary's affordable housing plans, offering contacts and advice. It was all very civil, very proper, and very strange. After dessert, Robert suggested that he show Lena the garden, giving the adults a chance to talk. Alana hesitated, but Lena was already jumping up from her chair, eager to see if the Carrington garden had a pond like her friend Tiffany's house. When they were alone, Victoria cleared her throat. "I owe you both an apology," she said, the words clearly difficult for her to say. "My behavior has been inexcusable." Zachary and Alana exchanged surprised glances. "What brought this on?" Zachary asked suspiciously. Victoria sighed. "Seeing you at the signing, so determined to give up everything for them, it made me realize how wrong I've been, how much damage I've done." "You tried to keep me from my child," Zachary said. "You threatened Alana. You sent reporters to her school." "I know," Victoria said, and to Zachary's shock, there were tears in her eyes. "I was trying to protect the family name, the legacy we built. But in doing so, I nearly destroyed the most important part of that legacy. You, Zachary, and my granddaughter. It's going to take more than one dinner and an apology to fix this," Alana said, speaking for the first time since they'd been left alone. "I understand," Victoria said. "I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I would like the chance to be a grandmother to Lena, and a mother to you again, Zachary." "What about Alana?" Zachary asked. "She's Lena's mother. She's the woman I love. Can you accept her as part of this family?" Victoria looked at Alana, really looked at her, perhaps for the first time. "You raised an extraordinary little girl," she said. "You did it on your own, with no help from us. That takes strength and character." "It wasn't a choice," Alana said. "It was what needed to be done." "Nevertheless," Victoria said, "I misjudged you, 7 years ago, and again when Zachary found you. I saw only what I wanted to see, a threat to our family's status. I didn't see the remarkable woman my son loves." The room fell silent. It was the closest thing to an apology that Victoria Carrington had probably ever given. "I need time," Alana finally said. "We all do. Trust isn't rebuilt overnight." "I understand," Victoria said. "All I ask is for the chance to try." From the garden came the sound of Lena's laughter. Zachary moved to the window and saw his father showing her how to feed the koi in the pond. The sight of stern Robert Carrington kneeling beside a little girl in a purple dress brought an unexpected lump to his throat. "We'll take it one day at a time," Zachary said, turning back to his mother. "Sunday dinners, supervised visits. If that goes well, we'll see about more." Victoria nodded, accepting his terms. "Thank you." When Robert and Lena returned from the garden, the little girl was chattering excitedly about the fish and the flowers. "Can we come back next week, Dad?" she asked. "Grandpa says there'll be baby ducks in the pond." Zachary looked at Alana, who gave a slight nod. "We'll see, sweetheart," he said, "if your mum says it's okay." As they prepared to leave, Victoria handed Alana a small box. "For you," she said. "Not a bribe, just a peace offering." Alana opened it to find a delicate gold bracelet. "It was my grandmother's," Victoria explained. "I thought, well, family heirlooms should stay in the family." The implication was clear. Victoria was acknowledging Alana as family. It wasn't an apology for the past, but it was a step toward the future. "Thank you," Alana said simply, accepting the gift with grace. Outside, as they walked to the car, Lena skipping ahead, Zachary turned to Alana. "You okay?" "I think so," she said, looking thoughtful. "Your mother is not what I expected tonight." "People can change," Zachary said. "Even Victoria Carrington." "We'll see," Alana said, but there was a hint of hope in her voice. Over the next month, a tentative peace was established. Sunday dinners at the Carrington mansion became a regular occurrence. Victoria made an effort to treat Alana with respect. even asking her advice on the school charity auction she was chairing. Robert doted on Lena, teaching her to play chess and listening patiently to her piano practice. It wasn't perfect. There were still moments of tension, old hurts that resurfaced, but slowly, day by day, they were becoming a family, an unconventional one perhaps, but a family nonetheless. One evening, after putting Lena to bed at his house, where she and Alana now spent most nights, Zachary found Alana on the back porch, looking up at the stars. "Penny for your thoughts," he said, sitting beside her. "I was just thinking about how much has changed," she said. "A few months ago, I was terrified of you coming back into our lives, and now, Zachary prompted. "Now, I can't imagine life without you in it," Alana admitted. "You've become essential. To Lena, to me." Zachary took her hand. "I've been wanting to ask you something, but I've been waiting for the right moment." "Is this the right moment?" Alana asked, a smile playing at her lips. "I think it might be," Zachary said. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. "I know it might seem soon, and I know we still have a lot to work through, but I love you, Alana. I've loved you for 7 years, even when we were apart, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you and Lena." He opened the box to reveal a simple but elegant diamond ring. "Will you marry me?" Alana's eyes filled with tears. "Are you sure this isn't just for Lena's sake? This is for us," Zachary said firmly. "All 3 of us. We've already missed so much time. I don't want to waste another day." Alana looked at the ring, then back at Zachary. "Yes," she said softly. "Yes, I'll marry you." Zachary slipped the ring onto her finger, then pulled her close for a kiss that held all the promise of their future together. From the doorway came a small, excited voice. "Does this mean we're going to live together forever?" They turned to find Lena standing there in her pajamas, watching them with wide eyes. "Lena Monroe, you were supposed to be in bed," Alana said, trying to sound stern despite her smile. "I heard talking," Lena said, coming to sit between them. She pointed to the ring on her mother's hand. "Is that a wedding ring, like in the princess stories?" "It's an engagement ring," Zachary explained. "It means I've asked your mom to marry me and she said yes." "So you'll be my dad forever and ever?" Lena asked, looking up at him with those grey eyes so like his own. "I already am your dad forever and ever," Zachary assured her. "This just makes it official." "And we'll all live in the same house?" Lena continued. "No more going back and forth?" "That's right," Alana said. "We'll be together, a family." Lena smiled, satisfied with this answer. "Good. Can I be a flower girl?" Tiffany was a flower girl at her aunt's wedding. She got to throw petals everywhere. Zachary laughed. "Of course you can be our flower girl. The most beautiful flower girl ever. Can I tell Grandma and Grandpa tomorrow? At Sunday dinner?" Zachary and Alana exchanged glances. "Yes," Alana said after a moment. "You can tell them tomorrow." "Yay!" Lena clapped her hands. "This is the best day ever." "It sure is," Zachary agreed, putting his arm around both of them. "The best day ever." Later, after finally getting Lena back to bed, Zachary and Alana stood in the hallway outside her room. "Are you really okay with telling my parents tomorrow?" Zachary asked. "We can wait if you want." "I think it's time," Alana said. "They're making an effort, so should we." Zachary pulled her close. "Have I told you lately that you're amazing?" "Not in the last hour," Alana teased. "Well, you are," Zachary said, kissing her forehead. "Amazing and strong and kind, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you." "Me neither," Alana said softly. "It's been a long road, hasn't it? From that summer 7 years ago to now." "Worth every step," Zachary assured her. "Even the painful ones. They all led us here, to this moment, to our family." From Lena's room came the sound of soft, steady breathing, their daughter, sleeping peacefully, secure in the knowledge that she was loved. "Our family," Alana repeated, smiling up at him. "I like the sound of that." The next evening they arrived at the Carrington mansion for Sunday dinner. Lena could barely contain her excitement, bouncing in her car seat and asking every 2 minutes if it was time to tell Grandma and Grandpa the big news. "Remember, let Mom and Dad bring it up first," Zachary reminded her as they walked to the door. "But I can tell them after?" Lena asked. "Yes, after we bring it up," Alana assured her. Victoria greeted them at the door, looking more relaxed than Zachary had seen her in years. "We're in the garden today," she said. "It's too beautiful an evening to be inside." The backyard had been transformed. Twinkling lights hung from the trees, and the table was set elegantly beside the koi pond. Robert was already there, pouring drinks. "What's the occasion?" Zachary asked, surprised by the effort. "Does there need to be one?" Victoria asked. "Can't I just enjoy having my family together?" Dinner was surprisingly pleasant. Victoria had made an effort to prepare foods that Lena liked, and Robert had gotten her a book about koi fish that he read with her while the adults talked. As dessert was served, Lena could no longer contain herself. "I have a big announcement," she declared, standing on her chair despite Alana's attempts to make her sit properly. Victoria and Robert looked at her indulgently. "What is it, dear?" Victoria asked. "Mom and Dad are getting married," Lena said triumphantly, "and I'm going to be a flower girl and throw petals everywhere." There was a moment of stunned silence, then Robert's face broke into a genuine smile. "Congratulations," he said warmly. "Both of you." Victoria's reaction was harder to read. She looked at Zachary, then at Alana, her expression carefully controlled. "This is unexpected," she said finally. "Is it?" Zachary challenged. "You've seen us together for the past month. You know how I feel about Alana." "I do," Victoria admitted. I suppose I thought you might wait a bit longer." "We've waited 7 years," Alana said quietly. "That's long enough, don't you think?" Victoria looked at her, and something passed between the two women. An understanding, perhaps, or at least a truce. "Yes," Victoria said finally. "I suppose it is." She raised her glass. "To Zachary and Alana, may you have the happiness you deserve." "And lots of petals," Lena added, raising her juice glass. Everyone laughed and the tension was broken. As they finished dessert, Victoria surprised them all by asking about wedding plans. Did they have a date in mind? A venue? Had they thought about flowers? "We haven't had time to plan anything yet," Alana said. "It just happened last night." "Well, if you'd like," Victoria said carefully, "I'd be happy to help. The Carrington estate would be a lovely venue for a summer wedding." Zachary looked at his mother in surprise. "You'd want us to get married here?" "Why not?" Victoria said. "It's your home. Or it was. It could be again, for special occasions." "That's very generous," Alana said diplomatically. "We'll certainly consider it." Later, as Robert showed Lena how to turn on the garden lights, Victoria pulled Zachary aside. "I owe you an apology," she said quietly. "A real one this time." "For what specifically?" Zachary asked. "There's quite a list." Victoria winced. "I deserved that. For everything, Zachary. For trying to control your life. For driving Alana away. For keeping you from your daughter." She took a deep breath. "I was wrong. So wrong. And I've paid for it every day for the past 7 years, watching you go through the motions of a life you didn't want." "Why the change of heart?" Zachary asked, not entirely convinced. "Seeing you with them," Victoria admitted. "The way you look at Alana, the way Lena looks at you. It's real, Zachary. What you have with them is real in a way that nothing in this house has been for a very long time." "It is," Zachary agreed. "They're my heart, Mother, my home." "I understand that now," Victoria said, "and I want you to know I'm proud of you for fighting for them, for being the man I didn't raise you to be, but the man you were meant to be." Coming from Victoria Carrington, those words were unprecedented. Zachary was speechless. "I don't expect you to forgive me overnight," Victoria continued, "or maybe ever, but I want you to know that I accept Alana. I accept Lena. I accept your choice. And I will do everything in my power to be the mother and grandmother you both deserve." Zachary studied his mother's face, looking for any sign of manipulation or insincerity. But for once, Victoria Carrington seemed completely genuine. "Thank you," he said finally. "That means more than you know." Across the garden, Alana was watching them, concern on her face. Zachary gave her a reassuring smile, and she visibly relaxed. "You love her very much," Victoria observed. "More than I could ever explain," Zachary said honestly. "Then I'm happy for you," Victoria said. "Truly." 6 months later, on a perfect summer day, the Carrington estate was transformed for a wedding. White flowers lined the path to a flower-covered arch in the garden. Chairs were set up on the lawn, filled with guests, Alana's friends and colleagues, Zachary's business associates, even some of the Carrington family's social circle who had surprisingly accepted the union without judgment. In the master suite, which had once been his parents' room, Zachary adjusted his tie nervously. Robert stood nearby, looking proud in his formal suit. "Nervous?" his father asked. "A little," Zachary admitted. "Not about marrying Alana, just about the ceremony itself." "You'll be fine," Robert assured him. "When you see her walking down that aisle, everything else will fade away." "Were you nervous when you married Mother?" Robert smiled at the memory. "Terrified. I was a nobody from a middle-class family. marrying Victoria Sheffield, the Queen of Atlanta society. I was sure I'd trip or forget my vows, or do something to embarrass her. But you didn't, Zachary guessed. No, Robert said, because the moment I saw her, nothing else mattered, just like it will be for you today. Downstairs, guests were being seated. Victoria, elegant in a pale blue suit, was playing the perfect hostess, showing people to their seats with gracious smiles. In another room of the mansion, Alana stood in a simple but beautiful white gown, while Tasha helped adjust her veil. You look stunning, Tasha said, stepping back to admire her friend. Zachary is going to faint when he sees you. I hope not, Alana laughed. I'd like him conscious for the ceremony. A knock at the door revealed Victoria, looking uncharacteristically hesitant. May I come in? She asked. Tasha looked at Alana, who nodded. I'll go check on Lena, Tasha said, giving Alana's hand a squeeze before leaving. Victoria entered the room, her eyes widening at the sight of Alana in her wedding dress. You're beautiful, she said sincerely. Thank you, Alana said, still a bit wary around her soon-to-be mother-in-law despite the progress they had made. I brought you something, Victoria said, holding out a small box. Something borrowed, as they say. Alana opened it to find a pair of pearl earrings. They were my mother's, Victoria explained. I wore them at my wedding to Robert, and I thought you might like to wear them today. It was a peace offering, another step in the slow healing of their relationship. They're lovely, Alana said, touched by the gesture. Thank you. As Victoria helped her put them on, their eyes met in the mirror. I know I've said it before, Victoria said quietly, but I am truly sorry for what I did, for trying to keep you and Zachary apart. We found our way back to each other, Alana said. That's what matters now. Yes, Victoria agreed, and you make him happier than I've ever seen him. Thank you for that. A soft knock at the door announced Lena, resplendent in her purple flower girl dress, her curly hair adorned with a crown of white flowers. Mommy, you look like a princess, she exclaimed. So do you, my darling, Alana said, kneeling to hug her. Grandma, doesn't Mommy look beautiful? Lena asked Victoria. The most beautiful bride I've ever seen, Victoria agreed, and for once, there was no artifice in her voice. The wedding ceremony was everything they had hoped for. As Zachary stood under the flower arch, watching Lena walk down the aisle, tossing white petals with enthusiastic abandon, he felt a sense of rightness that had been missing for so long. And then Alana appeared, walking toward him on Robert's arm, her own father having passed away years ago, and Zachary's heart seemed to stop. She was radiant, her eyes fixed on his, a smile playing at her lips. When she reached him, he took her hands in his, unable to find words for the emotions overwhelming him. Hi, she whispered, her eyes shining with tears of joy. Hi, he whispered back, squeezing her hands. The ceremony was simple and heartfelt. They exchanged vows they had written themselves, promises to love and cherish, to support and respect, to build a life together filled with joy and understanding. When Zachary slipped the ring onto Alana's finger, his hands were steady, sure of this choice, this commitment, this love. I now pronounce you husband and wife, the officiant declared. You may kiss the bride. Zachary pulled Alana close, pouring all his love into that kiss. Around them, guests applauded, and Lena cheered the loudest of all. As they walked back down the aisle together, Zachary caught sight of his parents. Victoria was actually crying, dainty tears that she quickly dabbed away. Robert stood tall and proud, his arm around his wife. The reception was held on the mansion's expansive lawn. Under twinkling lights and a starry sky, Zachary and Alana had their first dance as husband and wife. Lena insisted on joining them halfway through, and they laughed as they tried to dance as a threesome, the little girl between them. Later, as the celebration continued around them, Zachary found a quiet moment with Alana. Happy? He asked, pulling her close. More than I ever thought possible, she admitted. If someone had told me 7 years ago that I'd be marrying Zachary Carrington in his family's mansion, with his mother's blessing. Life is full of surprises, Zachary said, kissing her temple, some of them good. Across the lawn, Victoria was dancing with Lena, teaching her a simple waltz, both of them laughing. Robert watched them with a contented smile. Your parents have really changed, Alana observed. Love changes people, Zachary said. It changed me. For the better, Alana assured him, reaching up to touch his face. Everything in my life is better with you in it, Zachary said. You and Lena, my family. As the night drew to a close, Zachary and Alana prepared to leave for their honeymoon. Lena would be staying with Victoria and Robert, an arrangement that would have seemed impossible just months ago. Be good for Grandma and Grandpa, Alana instructed, hugging Lena tightly. I will, Lena promised, and you bring me a present from Hawaii. We wouldn't dare come back without one, Zachary assured her, kneeling to hug her too. I love you, Dad, Lena whispered in his ear. I'm glad you came back. I love you too, sweetheart, Zachary said, his throat tight with emotion. More than you'll ever know. As they drove away from the mansion, rice and flower petals still clinging to their clothes, Zachary looked over at Alana, his wife, the love of his life, the mother of his child. Thank you, he said simply. For what? She asked, her hand finding his. For giving me a second chance, for letting me be part of Lena's life, for loving me despite everything. Thank you for coming back, Alana said softly, for fighting for us when it would have been easier to walk away. I'm never walking away again, Zachary promised. You and Lena are my heart, my home, my everything. As they drove toward their future together, Zachary felt a sense of peace and completeness he had never known before. The road had been long and often painful, with separations and secrets, misunderstandings and mistakes. But it had led them here, to this perfect moment, to the beginning of their life together as a family, and that made every step of the journey worthwhile. 1 year later, Zachary stood in the doorway of their home, not the Carrington mansion, but a comfortable house they had chosen together, with a big yard for Lena to play in and enough room for their growing family. Inside, Alana sat in a rocking chair, cradling their newborn son, while Lena sat at her feet, looking up at her baby brother with wonder and pride. He's so tiny, Lena whispered. Was I that tiny? Even tinier, Alana assured her. But you grew big and strong, and so will little Robert. Named after his grandfather, who had shed actual tears when they'd told him baby Robert Carrington had his mother's warm brown skin and his father's grey eyes. He was the perfect blend of them both, just as Lena was. Zachary moved to join his family, kneeling beside the rocking chair to look at his son. He's perfect, he said, gently touching the baby's tiny hand. Of course he is, Alana said with a smile. He's ours. Outside, a car pulled into the driveway. Victoria and Robert coming for their weekly Sunday dinner, bringing gifts for the baby and stories for Lena. Life wasn't perfect. There were still moments of tension, old hurts that occasionally resurfaced, but they faced them together as a family. Victoria continued to work on being a better mother and grandmother. Robert doted on both his grandchildren. Zachary's affordable housing project was a success, with plans for more. Alana had been promoted to head teacher at Westbrook Academy, and every day Zachary marveled at how blessed he was to have found his way back to Alana after 7 years apart, to have a daughter who had accepted him with open arms, to have a son who would grow up knowing he was loved from his very first breath. I love you, he said to Alana, leaning in to kiss her softly. I love you too, she replied, her eyes shining with happiness. And I love both of you, Lena declared, not wanting to be left out. And baby Robert too, even though he cries a lot. Zachary laughed, pulling Lena into a hug. That's what families do, he said. We love each other, no matter what. As Victoria and Robert came through the door, bringing with them the sounds of laughter and conversation, Zachary looked around at his family, not the one he was born into, but the one he had found, the one he had fought for, the one he had chosen. And he knew with absolute certainty that he was exactly where he was meant to be.